Last Thursday night in Arlington, Texas, a player who used to wear fever red scored 19 second-half points, hit the tie-breaking basket with 51 seconds left, and walked out with the win. Her name is Natasha Howard. 5 weeks ago, the Indiana Fever let her go. And on Wednesday night in Indianapolis, Caitlin Clark is walking onto a court missing the one player who could have answered every question this franchise can't. Here's what Herb Simon's front office actually decided that week, and what it's about to cost. Clark is the engine. Everyone in this league knows that. But she's never been the rim protector. She was never supposed to be. That was Natasha Howard's job. And on Thursday night, in a Lynx jersey against the team Indiana already lost to in overtime this season, Howard reminded the entire league why that job mattered. 26 points, 11 of 14 from the field, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks. 19 of those 26 came after halftime, with Minnesota digging out of a 12-point hole. Howard scored the tie-breaking basket with 51 seconds left, an uncontested layup off a pick and roll with the rookie. Lynx win 90-86. The Fever paid this woman $214,000 last year. Minnesota signed her for $1.4 million over 2 seasons. And the very next night at Gainbridge, one day after Howard's masterclass in Texas, Aliyah Boston walked off the floor with a lower leg injury, and the bench behind her was empty. Look at the player Indiana let walk. Natasha Howard is a 12-year veteran. She's a 2-time WNBA All-Star. She's the 2019 Defensive Player of the Year, the highest defensive honor this league hands out. She was the Commissioner's Cup MVP last season, the trophy this franchise just won, on the back of the player they decided not to keep. And she's a 3-time WNBA champion. 2017 Minnesota, 2018 Seattle, 2020 Seattle again. 3 rings in 4 years, 3 different rosters, 1 constant. Natasha Howard scoring buckets and locking down forwards in the most important games of the season. This isn't some role player who quietly aged out of a starting lineup. This is a player whose last full season for Indiana looked like this: 11.4 points, 6.6 rebounds, 55% shooting from the field, started all 44 games. That 55%, that was her best shooting mark since 2016, her most efficient scoring season in nearly a decade. And the Indiana Fever's response was to let her walk for the cost of a rookie minimum. Now, here's where it gets uncomfortable for Indianapolis. Thursday night at College Park Center in Arlington, Lynx are down 48-40 at halftime. Dallas is shooting 46% for the game, but they're up double digits in the third quarter. The roster Curt Miller built to bury this league, 2 consecutive #1 picks, the experienced wings, the rookie's running point, looks unbeatable in their own building. Azzi Fudd, the #1 overall pick, is coming off the bench. And then Natasha Howard goes to work. 19 of her 26 points come in the second half. She gets to the rim, she gets backdoor cuts, she blocks 3 wing shots and grabs 5 rebounds. Minnesota outscores Dallas 50-38 in the second half. With 1:57 on the clock, Howard ties the game at 83. 51 seconds later, on a pick and roll with the rookie point guard, she scores the basket that wins it. The team Indiana plays in their season opener, the team that just put up 107 on the Fever in overtime on May 9th, couldn't stop a 34-year-old forward in a Lynx jersey. And the Fever front office watched this from 900 miles away. This isn't one decision, it's 3. Check the dates. April 12, 2026. Natasha Howard signs with the Minnesota Lynx. The Fever's response: a goodbye Instagram post. May 9th, 2026, season opener at Gainbridge. Odyssey Sims, a guard the Fever cut, scores 20 points wearing Dallas colors. Indiana loses by 3 in overtime. May 15th, 2026. Aliyah Boston walks off the floor against the Mystics with a lower leg injury, and the Fever bench has no center behind her. Nobody. The seat is empty. 3 decisions. 3 former Fever players walking out the door. 1 franchise pretending the math is going to fix itself. Same hand on the wheel every time. Herb Simon's front office had a chance, last summer, last fall, last week, to plug a front court that everybody in this league could see was thin. And they didn't. They chose Sophie Cunningham over Natasha Howard. They chose Monique Billings as the replacement, brought in on the cheap from Golden State. And they kept Aliyah Boston $190,000 below the maximum, so they'd have flexibility. Flexibility for what? To watch the player they let walk drop 26 on the team that's beating them? And it's not just Howard. Odyssey Sims, 20 points off the bench against Indiana on opening night. 6 made field goals. 6 made shots in the building she used to call home. The Fever cut her last year, and Kurt Miller picked her up for the Wings before the ink was dry. 2 former Fever players, 2 different teams, same week. Both burning Indiana from teams that paid less for them than Indiana ever did. This is not a fluke. This is what front offices look like when they confuse cap flexibility for a championship plan. Vegas built around A'ja Wilson by signing her for $5 million and locking down the rest of the roster for change. Minnesota built around Napheesa Collier by keeping the veterans who actually win playoff games. Dallas tore down to studs and rebuilt with 2 consecutive #1 picks plus the experienced wings they needed around them. And Indiana? Indiana drafted the most marketable basketball player on the planet, brought in a Defensive Player of the Year on a minimum contract, won the Commissioner's Cup with her on the floor, and then let her go to free up space for everybody except a backup center. Move number 2, and this one's on the people Herb Simon hired. Stephanie White stood in front of cameras before the season started and told reporters Aliyah Boston was on a return-to-play protocol. Her words, 4 or 5 players on minutes restrictions, Boston managing a body that finished last season worn down. The head coach said it out loud in May in front of the entire WNBA press corps, and the response from the front office was, what exactly? A guard, a wing, a rookie second-rounder, no center behind Aliyah Boston, none. There has never been a moment in this 26-year franchise's history when the starting center was hurt and the depth chart behind her was this thin. The Mystics shot 56% on Friday. They outscored Indiana 30 in the paint. A team of rookies and second-year players walked into the building Caitlin Clark made famous and ran the score up against the franchise that decided rim protection wasn't worth $1.4 million. Tomorrow night, Wednesday, the Portland Fire come to Gainbridge. It's the Fire's first-ever trip to Indianapolis, a team that didn't exist 12 months ago, a team built from cast-offs and rookies and free agents nobody else wanted. And the Indiana Fever, the team valued at $560 million, the team that's appreciated 522% since they drafted Caitlin Clark, the team that just signed Aliyah Boston to the largest contract in WNBA history, have to walk onto their own court without a backup big and pretend everything is fine. Now, here's where somebody in the comments is going to push back. Herb Simon broke ground on a $78 million training center last September, largest WNBA facility in history. 108,000 square feet, 3 stories, connected to Gainbridge by a sky bridge. Opens before the 2027 season. That's real. That's investment. That's a man putting his name on a building. But the front court his head coach is trying to win games with tonight. In 2026, against Portland, with Aliyah Boston walking gingerly into the locker room, doesn't exist. You can't put a building on the floor in the fourth quarter. Caitlin Clark isn't going to win a championship in 2028 if her franchise spent 2026 losing in their own arena to teams that didn't exist last year. Then Friday, it's Golden State. Memorial Day weekend, the rest of the league shows up. And in 7 weeks, on July 5th, the Fever fly to Las Vegas to play the team that already settled the championship conversation by handing A'ja Wilson $5 million and a 3-year extension. The bill on every one of those games gets paid in the same currency. Minutes the front office didn't sign anybody to play. And somewhere in Minnesota tonight, a 34-year-old forward with 3 rings and a Defensive Player of the Year trophy is on the team plane. She's not coming back. Her phone isn't ringing. The decision that put her in a Lynx jersey was made 5 weeks ago, signed off by Herb Simon's front office, and there's no taking it back. The Indiana Fever better be paying attention, because Natasha Howard isn't coming. She's already gone, and the bill comes due on Wednesday night. 5 weeks, 3 decisions, 1 empty bench. Caitlin Clark is going to walk onto that court tomorrow night and try to win a game for a franchise that forgot defense exists. This one belongs to Natasha Howard. She earned it, in a Lynx jersey, from 900 miles away, and the people who let her walk are going to have to watch it happen all summer.